Welcome to Down Home Horror, where we keep the hall lights on for you. I'm Alex.
And I'm Amber.
Welcome to Shudder Sunday!
Woo!
We love Shudder Sunday
We
because this
do.
is the day where we each take turns, we pick a exclusive or original movie from Shudder, and we get to talk about it. We keep it spoiler free, we also keep it nice and quick, so that way you can listen to it on your Sunday afternoon or morning, whenever you're listening to it, and go about your day. But you may, along the way, decide, hey, I want to try out Shudder. That's our goal here. Are they sponsoring us? Not yet, but we're working on it. So, like, maybe if you think about it, if you go get a Shudder account and then write an email, dear Shudder, comma,
Dear Mr.
sponsor
Shudder.
dear Mr. Shudder, Mr. and or Mrs. and or MX's Shudder, comma, sponsor them. Don't say who, just them, period. And then sincerely your name. Then maybe we'll get a sponsor, and that would be neat, right?
Yes.
Until you write that very vague, ominous letter. I think for now we'll go ahead and continue talking about our movies. This week was my pick. Thank you for that, Amber. And I chose The Banishing. And it was everything I wanted it to be. No complaints. I enjoyed this movie thoroughly. How did you feel about it?
Um, I don't know. I didn't hate it. And
Strong. I'm sorry.
I didn't hate it. I wish that I would have watched it earlier in the day when I had more energy and
Sure.
it didn't feel like it was like dragging just because I was really tired and was like, fuck. But other than that, it's very much an Alex movie. So that was my takeaway from it. This is such an Alex movie.
Is an Alex movie, you may ask. Let me give you the description of the show first. This is from Shudder's page on The Banishing. So you know it's good. Someone edited it. That's not us. But what it reads is a young reverend and his wife and daughter move into a manor with a horrifying secret. When a vengeful spirit haunts the little girl and threatens to tear the family apart, the reverend and his wife are forced to confront their beliefs. They must turn to black magic by seeking the help of a famous occultist, or risk losing their daughter. From Triangle and Black Death director Chris Smith comes a terrifying look at the most haunted house in England, a Shudder original. Now, when I found out this was done by the same guy that did a Black Death, I did
Yes.
not like Black Death at
Really?
all. That's the one with Sean Bean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember it was definitely a Netflix and chill moment, but I remember being bored to tears about it when it first came out. So maybe it's worth a rewatch. But I just thought the pacing was super slow, so I wasn't expecting a fast-paced movie with this one.
See, I feel like the adverse reaction to that, but not because of Black Death, more so because I really like Triangle. Not on my top favorite movies, but it's one that I can watch occasionally.
I'd also say rereading this description, it is accurate, but also somehow not. I
Yeah.
feel like they put emphasis in places that maybe I wouldn't have necessarily. Again, it's 100% accurate. I'm not going to give up anything other than that. It's accurate. Just maybe I would have rewritten it differently. So after all that guff about they know what they're talking about, I maybe only have a little bit of regret about saying that out loud. Um, but I thought this movie. We go back. What's an Alex movie? I like ghosts. I like ghost movies. I like haunted house stories. I like families being tormented by ghostly traumas. It checks all the boxes, frankly. And it's a period. It's set in the 1930s. So it has this really interesting backdrop of being World War II, vague World War II times. They won't commit. And I did notice there is talk of fascism, which I mentioned. Might be triggering to some people, but be good for contextualizing when it was made. It was released in 2020.
Yeah.
So if we just take a moment, think about what was happening in 2020, just think about it. I don't need to say anything much more than that, I think. But you have to think it goes back probably at least 2 years from point of creation. So that was more like 2018.
Right.
Thinking even though this is seems like a UK based thing, there's still just a lot of political things happening in our global sphere that might impact why we'd want to talk about fascism and why fascism is bad. And I think it was handled well, and I think it was too heavy-handed. I think it was fitting for the time period. Remember how talking about Gwen, I was like, I don't why does the time period matter?
Right.
At least it matters for the time that the movie was made, right? Like I get why we're talking about it. And it has its moment, and it has a character, it has a few character impacts, I guess, at least as far as development goes throughout the movie. But it's not the core of it all. I have some things that I really liked about it. I thought they did a really good job with the character design. And I say character design and costuming is actually probably what I really mean.
Mm.
But the main cultist, Harry Reid, the red curly
Mm-hmm.
hair and his bright colors, as opposed to everyone else, they're kind of dreary neutrals, did a really good job standing out. Everyone's costuming, I felt really showcased their character.
Yeah.
Jessica Brown Finley's the lead actress, who I
So
love her in
good.
Harlots. She does it. And she's so pretty.
She
I,
is.
I feel like we say that in every Shudder. Oh my gosh, the lead actress is so
All
pretty.
right.
They're so talented, but they are, so it has to be mentioned.
I think like with their costumes too, this bothers me. When like modern aged cinema tries to capture old-timey like settings, but they don't commit with like the little details, whether it be like the music or the costumes and stuff like that. But I feel like the costumes in this work really well, and also the camera filters and the way that everything is shot,
Yeah.
it makes it feel a lot older than it is. Like my boyfriend was literally like, when was this movie made? As a person that doesn't like anything that's older horror, I was like, it's
Yeah.
2020, relax.
Calm down.
But if that, I feel like, is a good
Funny.
testament to how much they pay attention to little things, even as far as like cinematography goes for like time period and stuff.
It's funny that you mentioned cinematography because I did notice there's a lot of interesting shots that happened, and I felt like it was the influences I saw were some Hereditary, the A24 style, the really long still close-ups on objects with
Mm-hmm.
the distressing ambient noise in the
Yeah.
background, and then hard cut to a new shot of movement. And I was like, oh yeah, we got a lot of Hereditary light kind of shots here. But I also thought there was a lot of Kubrick style shots too, with the hallway and keeping stuff really
Mm-hmm.
what was the word? Symmetrical. There it is. We found it. We got there. We got there together. I heard you. I heard you, audience. Thank you for your help. It's like a kids show. Where's Blue? But no, I agree. I think the cinematography on this was gorgeous. There was never a time where I went, that shot could have been better. Everything
Yeah.
about it really impacted the story.
Yeah.
And they had some really cool, unique, terrifying shots in there too.
Yes, the shots I think are what made this movie as scary as it was. It's obviously not like overwhelmingly terrifying, but they do such a good job at creating like sense of dread just by using the shots. And it's really nice.
Dread, and there's like a little bit of surrealism to
Mm-hmm.
it too. Although I know you and I just both watched *Malignant* for the first time, and so I felt like a little too close. I'm like, oh, what am I watching? With some of that surrealism going
Right.
on, but not again, not a complaint.
Right.
Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a great cold open. The first 2 minutes, you think you know how the cold open's gonna go. You think it's prototypical. You think like, oh yes, this is exactly how it's gonna go. No, wrong. You're wrong. Whatever you're thinking, no, it's not that. It's great. They did a good job at building tension and hinting at conflict in the home really early on, and it didn't feel overacted or
Right.
again heavy-handed. Everything about this had a subtlety, a grace to it that I feel like we haven't seen in a lot of our Shudder movies yet. It was a very gentle touch.
Yeah.
And even by the end, I don't think we necessarily have all the answers we wish we had.
Yeah.
Particularly
I
about
agree.
the family. And I'm not upset about that. I did notice that particularly in the beginning there's a lot of flowers, and I thought that might be a motif that had come up. No, it just kind of was the opening shot where her first dresses had like a lot of flowers on them. There's a lot of flowers on the wallpaper. But me keep an eye on. I'm like, okay, what's this gonna be? Where's the symbolism? Like,
No,
like,
I feel good about the fact that you're saying that, because the whole time she was wearing that dress, that really floral dress, I was like, she blends in with the damn wallpaper. Like, move further away from it. I can't see you.
makes me think it has to be purposeful. You don't
Yeah.
pick that direct of a similar thing for no reason. But seeing as these are shorter videos, I don't think we necessarily need to go into detail. Just
Right.
that it was noticed that there was this semi-reoccurring thing of flowers and as a backdrop piece or as a clothing item, even. I thought it was really interesting the discussion of what a relationship is and what a marriage is. In this case, wasn't so much talking about romance, but it had a lot to do with sexuality, and that kind of was maybe not expected. You see a lot of sexuality within horror, sure, and I thought it was unique in this. It wasn't about a couple like trying to start their life over in a new home. Like it had nothing to do with that. It seemed like their main conflict was it's a young reverend and his wife. Of course, there's going to be some rocky history there, I think,
Right.
and again, wasn't the core of it, but really was an interesting way to develop the characters. And the only other thing I have to say is, if you like the others with Nicole Kidman, I think you'll like The Banishing. I feel like it has some of that similar vibes to it. It's a period piece. It's a haunted house. There's stuff going on. They're not quite sure what's going on, and the reveal is a neat reveal. And those are most of my thoughts. Other than I love this movie, so please watch it. Please watch it and enjoy it, and know that it is a haunted house movie. I don't think it does anything to break the mold.
Right.
I just think it's neat.
So originally, if I'm being completely transparent with everybody,
Sure.
I ended this movie just being like, eh. However, sitting here and actually having this conversation, I have this weird, like, newfound appreciation for it. I actually feel like it is a lot more than I originally gave it credit for. So, that's another reason why I love Shudder Sundays, because I get to find new things that are outside of my brain box to like about something.
Your brain box
My
is that
my mind palace or
your
whatever.
mind? I need to go to my mind palace. I'd be curious if you ever go back and rewatch it too, what you might catch on a second watch,
Yeah.
or if you'll still walk away like, wait, no, actually, I felt I just got caught up in the energy of the moment. Still that's totally okay, right? We like what we like, and it's a good thing we like different things. Otherwise, this would be a very boring show.
This is true.
So I think that wraps us up for this week's Shudder Sunday. Remember, you can always go over to Shudder. They have a 7-day free trial. Go check them out. They have wonderful exclusives and original, plus a bunch of other content that you're going to enjoy. Because that's what we do. TV shows and stuff. Is there something wrong, Amber?
No, I just absolutely love that.
Because our audience will too. Look at that. We do these every other Sunday, so since this was my pick this week, Amber, what are we watching next Shudder Sunday?
So my pick for next Shudder Sunday is called Vicious Fun, and according to Shudder, it is about Joel, a caustic 1980s film critic for a national horror magazine, who finds himself unwittingly trapped in a self-help group for serial killers. With no other choice, Joel attempts to blend in with his homicidal surroundings or risk becoming the next victim. And if that doesn't sound like a movie I like, I don't know what does.
Check those. Like, yep, sounds good. Is it supposed to be a comedy? Is it serious? Do we know?
It's not super specific. As far as like what the few reviews that I read, it's entertaining and fun. So
Okay.
maybe it has a little bit of like a comedic aspect to it, but the cover is super neon and I'm here for that. So, and it's obviously slasher, so
one of these days I'm gonna surprise you by picking a slasher. And you're gonna be like, what? What's going on?
one of these days I'm gonna pick a paranormal movie, so let's go.
Go! Tracy!
Freaky Friday, we just switch.
No, I'm gonna find the better slasher. No, I'm gonna find the better paranormal. Oh, I'm super excited to watch that. I think it's gonna be an enjoyable watch. And I'd say that even we've only done a few of these so far. Only been one that I went like, I really need to see that one.
Right.
And that was my pick. Whoops. So I think on the whole, the movies have been really enjoyable. So I'm glad that we get to continue to do this and see stuff we normally wouldn't.
Same.
As we wind on down, some things for you all to know. First off, we've been like saying for the last month, we're doing an Evil Dead thing. We're doing an Evil Dead thing. We're still doing an Evil Dead thing. At this point, You should see stuff on our social medias. Amber, do you want to talk more about that?
So, if you go to the Down Home Horror Twitter, we have a post kind of going a little bit more in depth about what this Evil Dead project is, including a link for you all to participate. So, if you're an Evil Dead fan and you want to participate in our Evil Dead stuff, you can head over to the Down Home Horror Twitter, which is twitter.com/downhomehorror, and find the post there.
So definitely participate, because we want this to be a collective thing, particularly a very certain episode. We want to make sure it is a final send-off love letter from fans, Evil Dead fans, to the internet. Don't you want to be part of that? Do you want to be part of that letter? Send your name, John Hancock, down at the bottom. Do it. Just participate. So there should be a link, as we said, on our social medias. Also, probably one in our details as well.
Yes.
So do the little drop down. And hey, while you're down there, if you're not subscribed, consider this. Subscribe, hit the bell, so that way you don't miss out on all the fun stuff that we're doing. And in the comments, put a ghost. I mean, but ghost is the easiest one, frankly. They don't have cultist as an emoji, as far as I know yet. So next time maybe. But go ahead and put a ghost in there. Let us know if you've watched any Shudder originals or exclusives or anything on Shudder that you want us to watch, and I'm sure we can add it to our list. And worst case, if you're like, I don't do YouTube comments, Alex, you're right. I'm so sorry. We do have a Discord now.
Me too.
And it is super duper fun. It is growing. You're able to go in, pick your role. I'm the cheerleader. Amber over there is a horror expert. I should emphasize that after saying I'm the cheerleader. And I saw there's a place to like put cute pictures of your animal. There's stuff for us to play like Dead by Daylight together and other games and movie night. We have a bunch of big plans coming for the Discord. So if you want to be there on the ground floor, be sure to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's all we have to say as our ending notes. Almost as long as our episode. But until next time, be sure to check under your bed for monsters, because I can't.
And I won't. Bye.